you get so vested when you travel with them to have a season like they're having to be 18-3. I know they're not playing, but it's so much more fun to cover and be a play-by-play voice for a winning team, and you've been there, than it is for a team that's scuffling. And those guys have been with scuffling, struggling basketball teams and try to make it sound wonderful for a bunch of years. And I'm kind of stoked for those two guys. It's like Richard Pitino says, I'm happy for our fans. And that's kind of where that goes, right? I'm happy for these fans who've been just struggling and just going over the top now, and God bless you for doing it, having a good year. But, for Robert and for Hunter, who travel and are with the team all the time, and to go through it and have to sit through, scuffling season after scuffling season, I'm stoked for those guys.
The energy, whether it's a bus ride after the game, pregame warm-ups, you just see hard work paying off, and it's a good feeling. It's the feeling last night in the pit for Lobo women's basketball fans.
Right.
And watching that team battle at times, come up short earlier, non-conference play in big-time home games, and then get their biggest win of the season against second-place Colorado State team. And the team gains confidence. It's a boost for the fans, and you definitely see that.
Yeah, so I was stoked for them. So Hunter will be with us at 8 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, a guy who's in the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame. He's one of the top basketball analysts for CBS and was a longtime coach at Division I at Providence and at Virginia. Pete Gillen's going to be with us. Pete's going to be on the call tonight on CBS Sportsnet, and he travels the country. Pete's been doing this for a minute or two now, and he's as good as there is, and you'll recognize the voice as soon as you hear it. He, Rome years ago, ran that clip, right? Duke is on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns. That's Pete Gillen. That's who did that when he was at Virginia. I think he was at Virginia at the time, but Pete's going to be with us. And I think you'll enjoy picking his brain about basketball, Mountain West, and kind of the overall. As we're going to be in February next week, and then it's going to be next month that the tournament comes, and so we're here.
Just like that.
And last night it was fun because JJ got to interview the Mountain West.
So you met Gloria Nevadas?
I did.
Yeah, so that was a good interview.
Good. Did you have some of that?
Yeah.
I'd like to do that because she's in town, and we were trying to get her on this morning. She's doing media availabilities this afternoon, which obviously doesn't work great for our format. So we're trying to get her on this morning. She's got meetings. And how was that? How'd you like her?
It was good. It was, it's a tight format at halftime. So we're like, hey, how you doing? What do you think of the Mountain West? Sort of some of the challenges.
Yeah.
In and out. But I think with her background, you have to be excited if you're a Mountain West fan because she's been in the West Coast Conference. She's been in the Pac-12 Conference. She understands the big picture, and if she also gets that, the future is so much more than just the old cliches about amateurism, this and that, and the big picture of college athletics is more uncertain than ever. And I think she has a good understanding of that with a strong trust in football and how important that is. I think it's going to be good for them.
So the big concern, and I told you this, I was traveling around the league the week after she was announced as Craig Thompson's successor. And a number of football coaches and athletic directors had expressed their concerns at that time, and I don't know if they haven't spoken with them since, about her coming from the West Coast Conference and it's not a football league. And how important football is, and obviously now, and
she's at Pac-12.
And she's been at she's been at football institutions too. So you're correct when you say the West Coast Conference doesn't have football, but that does not mean she has no football in her background. I know she's addressed this a million times. Did she talk about it?
No, because I didn't ask her. Oh, you spent the last 4 years in the West Coast Conference. Did you forget about college football?
Yeah. Did you know it exists? Since they don't do it, do you know it's even there?
Yeah. She brought it up unprompted in the interview, the expanded college football playoff, how important it is to compete and have the access.
Well, yeah, and she gets it. I mean, she understands how big it is, and that's really, one of the biggest things Craig Thompson did. And I know people around here love to rip on Craig, and I know Craig fairly well, and I like Craig. And over the years, heck, being in this market 26 years, being around that league since its inception, and then being a bull partner with them, I've spent some good time with Craig, and I do believe Craig's a good man. I think he's done really good things. The fact that this conference has stayed together throughout some of the tumult that's been thrown at them over the last 2 decades. And then B, I think grown to the point where it's inarguable right now. It's the best, and you can tell me Houston's number 1 in the country, and you'll be right. And they're in the American, and they're in a non-power conference, but they're going to the Big 12. But it's the best group of however many basketball conferences. Consistently, it's the best non-power football conference, year in and year out. There's years that it's not, but it's held together and thrived. Craig did a great job, and then obviously being on the committee to get the access into the college football playoff and get it expanded was he wanted that, I think, to be his legacy going out, and he did it. Not just him, but he was part of the group that got it done. Right, and so that I'm interested to hearing her. I'm looking forward to meeting her, and obviously partnering as we move forward. I'd like to hear some of that, actually, and maybe we'll do that. So 8 o'clock, Hunter Green, and 9 o'clock, Pete Gillen's going to be with us. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. 888-922-0610. Obviously, we're going through the football, and we're going to go through what the Cowboys did, didn't do, said, didn't say yesterday. In regards to coaching and Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn, and we got tons of that to do. You got a football weekend coming up. NFC Championship, Niners at Eagles. AFC Championship, Bengals at Chiefs. 100% says Christian McCaffrey. Even though he's not practicing, 100% he's going to play. I got no problems with it, right? I don't need him to have to go through drills. I think I'm fine with him knowing what's going on.
Yeah, as long as it is just a contusion, as they're saying. If it's anything more, we're going to see it early in that game. If it's a strain, if his calf is bothering him. This is one that, Brock Purdy, we get it. He's been really good. He hasn't made mistakes. They're going to need to find a couple more of those moments against the Eagles, like that George Kittle play, a little bit off script, big-time throw downfield, because both these defenses are really good. But I expect the Eagles to be able to make some plays against the 49ers. I think it's going to be a similar script to the Cowboys game in terms of it might be tough early, and it might take a minute or two for these offenses just to find some rhythm in this game.
Everybody, we go into this every week. All right, well, they're going to throw something at Brock Purdy that he hasn't seen, or he's going to have to play from behind, or none of it's happened. Every week you say, all right, I want to see the rookie get tested. I want to see him get tested. He's a rookie playing in his 6th game, his 7th game, his 8th game. I want to see him get and yet nobody's been able to get to him, rattle him make that mistake. I don't know why we think Philadelphia is different, just maybe because, they're better because, the most complete team that San Francisco's had to play. And you look back at the regular season roster of teams that San Francisco and Brock Purdy beat, and it's not murderer's row, but they've gotten through the playoffs. They've won 2 games. They've gotten to the NFC Championship game. But, JJ, every week we sit here and say, all right, well, here's what you got to do to get to Brock Purdy, and nobody's been able to do it yet.
Yeah, they haven't. And if you don't trust Brock Purdy at this point in time, you just haven't been watching him play football in his first postseason games. I just think it's going to be tough sledding early for both offenses because these defensive units are so good. But there's explosive playmakers on each side more than just one option. And that's the difference. If you look at the Dallas game when Tony Pollard went down, I know Dalton Schultz has been good, but in terms of explosiveness, it was like just CeeDee Lamb. But now it's, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the running game with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. And then you flip it. You got McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, George Kittle. So many weapons for these teams.
You like the under? 45, 46, 46.
I do.
Yeah, it's hard to see a whole bunch of points being scored in this. All right, so we're going to go through this. When we come back, I want to go through the Cowboys stuff. Steph, you're keeping your we'll go through NFL coaching stuff. So the Panthers have a new head coach. I think you know who that is, but if you don't, I'll tell you who it is. And then I got a lot of thoughts on what Mike McCarthy had to say, his demeanor yesterday at the press conference after Dan Quinn announced that he is coming back as defensive coordinator, but they've not made a decision on the offensive side. And boy, did they make a lot of moves yesterday. So we'll talk about the Cowboys. Hunter Green's going to be with us at 8 o'clock. We'll talk Lobos and Air Force. Glad you're with us on a Friday morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For 50 years.
So one of the coaching vacancies in the National Football League is no more a vacancy. Frank Reich, the former Colts coach, is the new head coach. In Carolina, it was down to him and Steve Wilkes, the interim head coach, and they went with the long-time, well, I guess long-time. I don't know if he's any more long-time than Wilkes is either. But they went with Frank Reich. So the starting quarterback, it's kind of crazy. He was starting quarterback in the Panthers' first game ever back in 1995. He was their starting quarterback. And he is now their head coach, the sixth head coach in the franchise's history. I don't know that I have a problem with that. I've always thought Frank Reich was a good coach. This year when he got fired, we all scratched our head and, why can't they get more out of this? Why is this not working? It felt like they were set up to win in Indianapolis. Then Jeff Saturday came in and it got way worse. And we're like, well, all right, maybe it's not the coaching. Maybe it's the roster. I always thought Frank Reich was a good coach. I'm fine with this. I thought Steve Wilkes did a nice job there too. And if he would have got the job, I'd have been cool with that too.
Yeah, Frank Reich in Indianapolis, 5 regular season openers. He had 5 different week 1 starting quarterbacks.
Could you name them?
Yeah, I'm reading it. So
could I? So 5?
Yes.
Well, the last 5 years, was Andrew Luck one of them?
He was.
So he had Andrew Luck and Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett. And I don't know who the 5th is.
It was this year.
It wasn't and Matt Ryan. Okay, so I would have got that.
You got it.
So yeah, all right. Jacoby Brissett, Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck, Carson Wentz, and Phillip Rivers. Wow, that's crazy. Who's winning like that?
No one is winning like that.
Yeah. So are you good with this?
I would have liked to see Steve Wilkes keep that job.
Felt like he earned it.
Bring in someone like Frank Reich to run the offense. So the reports were they wanted to do both, like keep both guys. I'm like, that's probably not going to work. Hire Frank Reich, then keep Steve Wilkes on.
Steve Wilkes was a coordinator until Matt Rule got fired throughout middle of the season, and he got promoted. Steve Wilkes was the one-year head coach in Arizona, if you recall, and then came on and I thought did a nice job. Again, there's a big push, as there should be, for minority hiring, and Steve Wilkes is African American, and so I know there was that concern. So did they offer him to stay on as a coordinator?
I don't know if they offered him that part, but I can understand being upset at that point in time.
Just go and bleep it.
Yeah, just because this is one that, even with the NFL geared so offensively, I don't think you need to scoff at defensive-minded head coaches if they get the big picture, and I think most do. So I understand you bring in a legit offensive coordinator, let that person go, but it felt like Steve Wilkes set a good tone. You still want that from your head coach. The team believed in him. They played really hard despite not having the talent and despite being a lot like the Indianapolis Colts. So if we were bringing in Frank Reich to something that he just left, a team with no quarterback.
Yeah. David Tepper's the owner of the Panthers, and so he called Steve Wilkes to let Steve know that he wasn't getting the job. This is according to a report. And evidently there have been no decisions about whether Wilkes was asked to stay on the staff. But we're not done with this because there's a New York City-based law firm. It's called Wigder LLP. It represents Steve Wilkes in his discrimination suit against the National Football League when he was fired after one season in Arizona. That was back in 2018. So the law firm put out this statement that I will read to you as a response to the decision to hire Frank Reich. Quote, "We are shocked and disturbed that after the incredible job Coach Wilkes did as the interim coach, including bringing the team back into playoff contention and garnering the support of players and fans, that he was passed over for head coach position by David Tepper. There is a legitimate race problem in the National Football League, and we can assure you that we will have more to say in the coming days." End quote. All right, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was in the locker or in these conversations. Maybe Steve Wilkes is more qualified. Maybe he's not. He did get the support of the players. I mean, is this a race-based decision or is this a merit-based decision?
I don't.
But that's what they're telling you. They're telling you it's a race-based decision.
I think the Arizona thing for Steve Wilkes
was a bad deal.
What we just saw with Nathaniel Hackett. Sometimes you realize we need to cut bait. Like, it was bad timing. Josh Rosen wasn't the guy. Was not working year one. This one, there's some other stuff that is going to come out that the Panthers are going to have to answer for because it's optics. And I believe
But a 61-year-old white guy who'd been a
Well,
head
Frank
coach.
Reich, I think I'm going to get the specifics for you, but I was reading a story and I'm just kind of blanking on it. I believe one of like Frank Wilkes' daughter, someone was hired like a month or two ago by Carolina.
Frank Wilkes or Frank Reichs?
Frank Reich's daughter.
Frank Reich's daughter
was hired like a month or two ago, so people are pointing at that, saying, "Well, what does this mean?"
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, this comes down, and it's really a tough one. And I'm not going to tell you that they don't have a race problem. Their head coaching roster does not look like the composition of their league. If you're going to tell me Steve Wilkes should have got the job because he's an African American, I'm going to tell you that's the wrong reason to give the man the job, right? If you're going to tell me that he should get the job because he turned them around and got them into playoff contention and got the most out of them and got them looking like a damn football team, which he did, and got the support of the players and the roster, which he did, and he had a vision moving forward, which I'd like to hear, that would be the reason that Steve Wilkes should have gotten the job. Frank Reich has been a pretty good coach, pretty respected coach, wherever he's been. He's, by the way, this first time in the history of the program, of the franchise, that they hired an offensive-minded coach. He's their sixth head coach. So I don't know if he's going to call the plays. They haven't decided that, but I don't know. 7 of the 9 candidates had offensive backgrounds, and they got to find a quarterback. So you have not heard the end of this situation with the Carolina hiring and Steve Wilkes not getting the job. And optically, JJ, to your point, and there's going to be a lot of people. And again, I can't sit here and tell you I know who's more qualified, Steve Wilkes or Frank Reich. I do know from what I saw, Steve Wilkes did a really nice job as the interim coach. When they fired Matt Rule, that team got a lot better. And that was after they traded Christian McCaffrey, their best player, right? And they went through – did he go through 3 different starting quarterbacks? Was it Darnold, Baker for a minute, right? They traded
Walker
him,
was in
and,
there.
and P.J. Walker, right? So he did it with 3 different quarterbacks. Like, I mean, sitting where I'm sitting, yeah, it feels like Steve Wilkes earned that job. But by the same token, does the NFL or this law firm or a lawsuit have the right to tell an owner who he should hire to run his football team?
He doesn't, and he liked Frank Reich. I think it's a little tough to look at this situation, and you can point out the Colts didn't have an idea what to do at quarterback and all those things, but then think, Frank Reich is the dude that couldn't figure it out in Indianapolis, but he should get a immediate next shot in Carolina with a team that's the same thing. Competitive in certain areas.
We couldn't
but
figure it out.
lacking a quarterback.
He couldn't figure it out because he had 2 guys who couldn't play. I mean, Sam Ehlinger and Matt Ryan, they couldn't play. Put him out there. But to your point, he's coming off a failure.
Well, he was part of trading
Yeah,
for Carson
no,
Wentz. He was
that's
part
right.
of trading for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, no, I optically, I think you're right. And I'm not sure how that didn't figure in. Like, as you sit here and talk your way through it, it's like, how did Steve Wilkes not get that job? All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. I guess I haven't given you how to get in touch with us today yet, have I? I think you know, but if you're new to the show, let me give you all of our outlets. And by the way, thank you for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it. Know you got a lot to do on every morning, especially a Friday, and appreciate you spending some time with us. If you want to get in, phone call or text, it's the 377 Brewery Hotline, 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff@sportsanimалabq.com, JJ@sportsanimалabq.com, and on the Twitter, it's _JJ Buck. Facebook is where you can watch the show. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks, Comcast Channel 26, and our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. And we'd love to hear from you. We're going to talk Lobo Hoops coming up at 8 o'clock with Hunter Green, the former Lobo great and the analyst on the Lobo Radio Network. And when we return, we are going to get into your Cowboys, Steph, and the head coach. Sounds like he's sticking around for a minute. Is the offensive coordinator, how that went down yesterday as we're heading into championship weekend here in the National Football League. Eagles and 49ers first, Chiefs and Bengals second, and we'll have all of those games, or at least both of those games, right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. IPS Watch is my home, International Protective Service. It's the good guys. It is affordable, private security. I've had them watch my home for years because there's been home invasions and break-ins, and I mean, you know what's going on in this town. There's a way too big a glut of bad guys and a shortage of the good guys. And there's an officer shortage. And so I reached out to IPS and said, hey, do you guys mind? And I hired them to patrol the house. And my family feels better. My neighbors feel better. I've worked hard to build what I've got. I know you've worked hard to build what you have, whether it's your business, your home, both, and you want to protect your family. Aaron Jones started IPS back in 2006, providing security for homeowners in Fort Hills. And all these years later, business owners, homeowners all over Albuquerque trust IPS to protect what they've worked hard to build. From here and passionate about making Albuquerque a safer place to live and work, IPS, they watch your home. They watch your business with highly trained armed guards and 24-hour patrols. Committed to our city and your protection. Give them a call. See what they can do for you. I think you're going to like it. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or online at ipsglobal.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young, here's one up off the rim. Jarek Duda with that shot, and Mask underneath. Defense is not there in time. Good move by Justin Mask.
Well, first. Nice pass. That's working that flex offense right there. And there's another timeout for Coach Barella.
Montez scans the scene, finds the corner, shot is up. Ooh, there's another one. Aris, that's 9 for Aris as she's hit.
Hey, Coach Segura said there have been some injuries on preps as far as the players, so maybe playing zone right now.
Fight's 3 is good. Jackson Fight knocks it down for the left side, from the left side for the Sun Devils. They lead by 10.
They're playing.
A perfect 36 on his ACT composite. Big 3! Buried in by Dylan McCleskey.
Trifectas of her own. Fires it off down low. Campos off the glass, and there it is.
Quick this shot. They got a shot up with 5 seconds. Transition 3 is up, and it's hit at the buzzer by Ian Hoingsberg. Picture perfect execution. Ball that hit the ground in 5 seconds.
Ball is stolen away by Montoya. Sartans are on the break. Calb finds Trujillo. Pump fake. Trujillo was rejected by Terrell. Rebounded by Calb. Hook shot is up. It's good. 2 points for Brian Calb.
Go one-on-one, and this is good things usually happen. Oh, great.
H.A. Rivera. I think the story in this one is the pressure defense that has turned up. They force another turnover. Calb's on the break.
Throw it down.
Calb puts it down. Brian Calb with the dunk in transition.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue.
So I'll preface this by saying I don't expect you to feel bad for Mike McCarthy. I don't expect you to, he's paid handsomely. Cowboys head coach. He's paid handsomely. He's paid to win. He didn't win. You're a Cowboy fan, so you don't give a damn, right? But anytime you got to go in and you got relationships with your coaches, and these are people you've known for years, and you got to let 4 of them or 5 of them go, and you got to tell them, hey, you're not coming back. Guys who've been there a long time. I can understand why he was in a cranky mood yesterday. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Steph, and Adrian, right? I mean, did you watch any of McCarthy's press conference yesterday?
Yeah, that is not an easy position to be in. It's easy for all of us to always fire everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
Oh, yeah.
This quarterback stinks. That head coach needs to be fired. Let go of this assistants. I understand that. It is so easy to say. When you have to be the guy that goes in there and tells a friend, a colleague,
somebody you really are close with,
that, hey, by the way, I'm firing you. Good luck with your next.
Yeah, pick up your family and move.
Yeah,
Go find a job.
That's not easy. No.
So he was a little surly yesterday, a little cranky, and I understand it. Look, the season ended quicker than you, and certainly he wanted it to end. And it was an uncomfortable, awkward press conference yesterday. Mike McCarthy, he spoke about letting people go. He was asked about Kellen Moore, his offensive coordinator, and it was relatively cryptic. He was asked about his relationship with Jerry Jones. Quote, as far as my relationship with Jerry, just using his words, we're in an excellent spot. The partnership that we have, he's excited. He told me a number of times this week that he wants me to coach here as long as Coach Landry did. And I said, okay, that's a long time. I feel really good about our relationship. I think our ability to discuss and disagree, we do a good job of that, and I think that's what's important, end quote. How long was Coach Landry there when Jerry was there? Like a year? Then he fired him? Right? Didn't Jerry fire Tom Landry? That's how that went, right? So he was asked about, and he should have been. He was asked about Kellen Moore. And he was asked specifically, is he coming back? Well, let me go to Dan Quinn first. Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator, has been out. I thought Dan Quinn was getting a job. I really did. In fact, I thought Dan Quinn was getting the Broncos job. That's where I thought Dan Quinn was going. Did you?
I thought Dan Quinn was going to be hired this round for sure.
As a head coach?
Yes.
He's the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He was formerly the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He told Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy yesterday that he is coming back. He will be back for another season. Quote from the head coach McCarthy, we're all extremely excited to have Dan back. Had a chance to visit with him for a short while. This is big for us, gives us continuity. Definitely what we've accomplished in the last 2 years, building off of that. Frankly, on a personal note, I can't tell you how thankful I am, end quote. All right?
That is the biggest win for the Cowboys in a long time. Dan Quinn,
I think that's
coming back to run that
right.
defense.
All right, are you blaming the offensive struggles on the offensive coordinator? Did he throw those interceptions? Kellen Moore
Is it all on Kellen Moore? No, it never is. But at some point in time.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's cheaper to cut, I imagine, than your quarterback is now.
You're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and not get different results? What do you do?
Kellen Moore's offenses statistically have been pretty good in the 4 years he's been offensive coordinator. He's been like sixth. I think, his scoring offense, the total offense, they've been no lower than sixth. He's performed. He is, and I guess somebody's got to take the hit, and it can't be Dak, right? And Kellen Moore interviewed with Carolina. Obviously, he didn't get the job. They hired Frank Reich. McCarthy said that he is yet to have his final full meeting with Kellen Moore about the offense, about the future, about what they're going to do. The Cowboys, just so we're clear where they were, this Cowboy offense under Kellen Moore finished 4th in points per game, 11th in yards. That was without Dak Prescott for 5 games with a broken thumb, right? So they're playing with a backup quarterback. I mean, if you want to sit here and tell me it's all on Kellen Moore, that's fine. You can blame Kellen Moore, and you can move on and figure out who's better to go in there, and that's fine. Could Kellen Moore have been better? I'm sure he'd tell you, yeah, he could be better. Kellen Moore to me is not the problem. Kellen Moore was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, a year ago, 2 years ago, and then Dak hasn't gotten better, and so it's Kellen Moore's fault. McCarthy was asked about Kellen Moore. He's still under contract. Is he coming back? McCarthy got a little snippy, and look, again, a tough place to be. That's not a fun press conference to have. His quote, I really don't want to play this game. Kellen Moore, just like the rest of the coaches, will be evaluated. Every coach will be evaluated. The evaluation, it takes more than one day, end quote. That's hardly a vote of confidence. I mean, if you're reading into that, just reading that, you would say, well, I'd be leaning to them making a change, wouldn't you?
And this is one, as upset as Cowboy fans would be that there's not a drastic change. If you're sitting there and you're like, all right, this team in the last 2 years was 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to win 12 games in the National Football League. You can throw out all the stats you want that they don't beat winning teams. Dak Prescott doesn't beat teams above 500. That's understandable. But to be 12-5 back-to-back years, to be in position to win playoff games, you don't want to just throw all that away. Because what you said about Kellen Moore is right. That offense has been productive. They're a high-scoring offense. And to me, that would be, hey, we're doing this just because. Like, we need to act
because somebody's
like
got to take the fall.
We need to act like someone in a high-profile position is in trouble and no longer has a job to show that we're making changes.
And Kellen Moore will get a job, and Kellen Moore will be fine. And by the way, they're still going to have to pay him. I think it would be a mistake to lay this all at the feet of Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy were pretty damn good figuring out how to win with Cooper Rush, weren't they? I mean, you threw Cooper Rush at him, and you thought, oh, this is over. I know you did. We sat here and listened to you. After Game 1, remember when they played Tampa Bay in Game 1? And Dak went down, and he held the thumb, and then we found out it's broken and whatever it was, and he's out. And you played 5 weeks without Dak Prescott. And you're like, it's over. After 1 week, it's over. And then what did Uncle Tom do? Go out and win every freaking game he played until the last one. Now, you can give all the credit you want to Cooper Rush, and you should. You better give some credit to Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy for being able to win and set the tone with a backup quarterback named Cooper Rush. Because you all were screaming, we got to go get Jim Garoppolo. Is Baker Mayfield available? Do you remember these conversations we had back in week 2?
I so remember these conversations.
I mean, we can go to the archives. Let's pull stuff out from September.
Everybody's like, they're done. Their season's done.
We're done.
We can't depend on Cooper.
Now, Cooper Rush played his ass off. He was really, really good. But do we not give a little bit of credit, and I would say quite a bit of, to Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore, that coaching staff who actually guided Cooper Rush through and won those games with Cooper Rush? We don't give them a little credit? Come on.
What are you talking about? Credit to Cowboys coaches, Jeff? Crazy.
They only get blame, right?
Yes.
All right, just want to make sure I understand. I mean, this is where I'm thinking
But it's almost like a parent with their kid. You know, you can't see Dak as being the bad one. Like,
why?
It's the teaching. It's
Why?
maybe it's the teaching method.
At what
I
point
don't
is
know.
Dak Prescott going to step up and be
Because
the
as
guy?
Cowboys, we have to like protect him. I guess I don't know if we feel like
Did it with Romo
was
for a lot of
the-
years too, right?
It was the coach's fault. You know, our team. It can't possibly be our players.
Steph,
I
you
mean,
did this with
That's
Tony Romo
really
for a long time.
fascinating point.
What?
That Steph just made.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, Jason Garrett. Got to get Jason Garrett out of here. Got to get the Clapper out of here. Tony Romo's great. Got to get him out of here.
Yeah.
It does feel like Cowboy fans have turned a
On
little
every
bit
coach.
on Dak
Dak's
this season
Tony
because of the
Romo.
turnovers.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and we're paying this man. You're not paying him nothing. Cowboys are paying him.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't cost you a nickel. But see, the thing is, you're stuck with Dak,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to be stuck with Mike McCarthy.
You're not stuck with anyone.
No, fair enough.
You're not.
I don't know who's taking him for that money, and you're not taking the cap hit. You kind of are stuck with him.
No.
How are you getting rid of him? How are you getting out?
Get on the phone.
They got rid
See
of
if
a
some-
lot of coaches, though.
How do you get rid of Russell Wilson?
You think if you call Carolina, they take him?
I think you could get them talking.
You think if you called New Orleans, they take him?
I think you can get them talking. Absolutely. Because Dak Prescott
I don't dislike that.
is better than
What they
what
got.
the Saints have.
Yep.
Dak Prescott. You know what? If I'm trying to build something, I'll take Dak Prescott over anything Carolina has. You can
Frank
get
Reich's going to be so
people-
careful taking somebody now.
Yeah, Frank Reich might be out on it.
Yeah.
But now if you call him on Andy Dalton, he might be all over it.
Yeah, see, he'd love that. So if you called Washington, now you're not going to send him in your division. If you called,
If you wanted to spark up conversations, teams
what if you
would
called
listen.
Houston? What if you called New Orleans? What if you called Tampa Bay if Tommy leaves? What if you called Atlanta? What if you called Who did I tell you the first one was the first one I said? Carolina? Yeah.
Carolina, New Orleans. So the NFC South, yes.
Atlanta, Carolina, the Saints, the Bucks. Yes, the whole NFC South.
Get them on a conference call. Like, hey, guys, Dak Prescott, interest interview at all?
It's interesting. It's actually really interesting. Dan, what do you think? Hello, Dan.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, got you. What's up?
I tease a lot. We talk a lot of smack as fans and everything, and I pick at my cowboy friends a lot. But in my eyes, why does anybody have to go? I thought they had a pretty doggone good team this year, and it seems to me like they should just lick their wounds and move on and make improvements. I don't think anybody really needs to go. On the visual, on the outside looking in, looks like they have a pretty good team and they can work with it. So I don't understand the whole, somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to take the hit. They're a team. You're a team. Everybody, you win together, you lose together. So I don't know, the whole thing about somebody's got to go. It's kind of odd, you know what I mean? There's always got to be a scapegoat.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, go Lobos.
Thanks, Dan. So he's kind of on you. You said, hey, you're 12-5. You were 12-5 last year. You're actually pretty damn good. Why are you looking to blow this whole thing up at the coaching staff level? Well, Jeff, the answer is we're the Dallas Cowboys, and we only got to the second round of the playoffs, and we should be going to the Super Bowl, and how are we getting past the Eagles, and is this coaching staff going to get us past the Eagles? Okay, fair question. And you got to evaluate it all. But it's not – you're actually pretty damn close, right? You're actually pretty close. Now, you can't get by the 49ers either. And look, if they'd have lost to – let me ask you this. How much of it is that they lost to Mr. Irrelevant in the playoffs? If they'd have lost Jim Garoppolo, would have been better? Would have made you feel better?
That happened last year.
It did happen last year.
So, no.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah. But that's the answer, Dan. Because you're the Dallas Cowboys, and damn it, we're better than that. 505-246-0610, Cowboy fan. How do you feel? Because I think you'd be making a big mistake if they get rid of Kellen Moore. I really do. Hunter Green's going to join us coming up in about 16 minutes at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk to him about Lobo basketball tonight. Lobo's in Air Force out at the pit. So we'll do that at 8, 9 o'clock. Pete Gillen, the guy who's going to be on the CBS broadcast, the Hall of Fame coach, is going to be with us to talk about college basketball as well. Fellas, how long has she been your girlfriend? Oh, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask this question, huh? How long has she been your girlfriend? But it is time to make her your wife, huh? Get over to John Thomas Jewelers and make the transaction and the transformation. That's really more that the transformation is the right word. Make the transformation complete. Went by John Thomas Jewelers over on the third floor of the Lewis University building, right there in Louisiana, 1 block south of Mall, across from Coronado Mall. It's unlike any jewelry store you've been into. So you go in there and you're not picking out of a case. You're going and you're building a custom ring. You're building custom jewelry. Valentine's Day is coming up, guys. Go in and check out John Thomas Jewelers. If you can dream it, they can make it. They do more custom jewelry in a week than most jewelers do in a full year, and they do it right here in Albuquerque. They don't send it out of town, and that's why it's way more affordable than you think high-end, beautiful custom jewelry ever can be. They're the only preferred jeweler in Albuquerque. That makes them the only jeweler in town that offers you a free lifetime nationwide warranty on whatever it is you buy. Guys, go in there. You're going to be impressed. Bring your lady. Have her pick it out. Go through it. You'll pick the band. You'll be able to customize it, pick the stone, the size, the shape, the cut, all of that, and it's done right there. Best jewelry store I've been into in, I can't tell you, I mean, probably forever. I can't remember a more impressive jeweler than John Thomas. Go by and see him. It's my jeweler. It should be yours. They're on the third floor of the Lewis University building on Louisiana. It's 1 block south of Manal. It's John Thomas Jewelers. If you can dream it, they can make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles.
And then when it became pretty clear that Patrick Mahomes was going to play, then it's back down to it's essentially a pick 'em. It's Kansas City -1. Patrick Mahomes is not 100%. There's no way, right?
He is not 100%.
But he'll still be really, really good because he's still Patrick Mahomes. I'm on Cincinnati in this game. I think Cincinnati's better, to be honest with you. I love Kansas City. I think they're really good, but I think Cincinnati's better. Who do you got?
My initial was Cincinnati.
Yep.
Right off the bat, seeing Patrick Mahomes with a high ankle sprain. Because Bills, like this game, you're going to need that little bit of special. And
I think so.
Is Patrick Mahomes going to have that little bit of special if that ankle is off? He's going to make throws. They're going to game plan it. He'll still be really good. But when you need that moment in the second half, can he make that off-script play? That moment of magic you're going to need to beat the Bengals even at home.
And you don't think so?
And I don't think he'll have it in him.
I think he'll have a
Just 'cause
little bit of
the
special.
ankle.
I wonder if he'll have enough special. I think there's going to be a couple of moments in this game you're going, how's he doing that? Even on one ankle, how did he do that? Look, only Mahomes could do that.
With all that being said,
yeah,
I'm right there. Feels like another field goal game.
Yes. Yeah, I think Cincinnati's defense is just
Cincinnati, at some point, because we've seen it, is they game planned the heck out of that contest last week. Still down 3 offensive linemen. And Chris Jones is coming, and he's going to blow up what you do in the middle. So you're going to have Patrick Mahomes and that offense scheming to take some pressure off his ankle, and then Joe Burrow, once again, is just going to have to keep getting up and keep coming because he's getting hit on Sunday.
He is, but he's been getting hit for the last 2.5 years, right? I mean, he gets hit on a regular basis. I think they've schemed it well, and their offensive staff schemes it well. They get the ball out of his hands, and then they go into a max protection when they want to get the ball down the field and give him that extra split second to find a Jamar Chase down the field and give him the time to get down there. Like I think they scheme insanely well. And what I think is really underrated about what they do, and Joe Burrow's been this good, their 2 running backs, Mixon and Pirine, I think have been so good both running the ball and catching out of the backfield, and which is very, very Kansas City, by the way, which is very, very Kansas City. The offensive staff from Cincinnati, to me, when I've watched them the last, 2 months, but really in the playoffs, I think they've been spectacular. I don't see the hole in Cincinnati is their offensive line, but they still seem to be able to get the ball out, and it hasn't been a glaring hole to me. Yeah, there have been injuries, but have you thought they haven't played well?
No. I think what they've done with that offensive line has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that's what I think does keep it a close game. Because that Joe Burrow, he takes a shot, he gets up. He's like Captain America. He's like, I can do this all day. I can do this all day. Keep coming. But that's going to wear on you. And that's why I think even with Patrick Mahomes not being 100%, why you're staring down a one-possession game again.
So you're on, who'd you take?
Cincinnati.
You got
That's my
Cincinnati,
initial
too.
feel. I'm saying these reports, they pull you back. Like if you're getting just enough Patrick Mahomes, I'm in. But going with my initial thought on this, and it's Cincinnati.
Well, the reports are interesting because they're going to tell you he's fine, right? There's no way he's fine. Well, okay, let me put it differently. I'm sure he's fine. There's no way he's like really good.
But it's a little like even seeing him not use a walking boot,
Yeah.
the whole time, like that's just be a precaution. I might be doing that just to do it.
Or they could be doing
But-
that to send a message.
You know, is it? I
Somebody
I'm
would
not- I'm not-
would find him in a walking
Yeah, I'm
boot,
not
right?
changing my game plan because I'm testing Mahomes early.
100%.
I'm coming, and if he beats me, go all right. You're Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
I got it. Now we're gonna adjust.
No, well, that's right.
coming.
I'm coming at him hard and seeing how mobile Patrick Mahomes is. I'm rushing him wide. I'm rushing him up the middle. I'm sending a lot of people at him. I'm making it beat him. And by the way, if I'm the defensive staff of Cincinnati, I am figuring out a way to have somebody always. You know how you spy a quarterback? And Patrick Mahomes, you always say, look, watch that linebacker. There's 54. He's the spy, and he's just waiting. And as soon as Mahomes gets loose, there he goes. I got someone assigned to Kelsey on every play. I just how he gets so open, and again, that's testament to Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid and the offensive staff of Kansas City. But how the best tight end in football, the guy that you know is Patrick Mahomes' go-to, is so open on every play. Like, yeah, does he make catches contested? He does, but it amazes me how often he is got 2 to 3 steps away from a defender.
Tight end is always open.
The tight end is always open. And so, look, it's got to be, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an X and O defensive guy. I'm not Rocky Long. But I'm going to tell you, one of my key focuses would be find Kelsey on every play. Air Force is in town for the Lobos tonight. Who are they? How good are Lobos? And how do they bounce back? Hunter Green knows he's a Lobo. Lobo for life. One of the best there's ever been. He's also the analyst along the Lobo Radio Network that you listen to over on News Radio KKOB. He is going to join us next. We'll talk Lobo basketball in the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 The Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters.
Sports Animal.
7 o'clock in the morning. 7 a.m. where have you been? 7 a.m. where is your brother?
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and J.J. Buck.
Lobo men's basketball back out in the pit tonight, 8 o'clock Friday night. Air Force is in town, bouncing back from, I don't know, you pick the word. Crazy, frustrating, brutal, exhausting, heartbreaking. Pick your word, the way they lost on Monday night in Reno. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. If you can't get out there, listen to the game over on News Radio KKOB. Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green will be on the call. And the former Lobo great Hunter Green joins us now on the opening drive. Good morning, Hunter. How you living?
Good morning, Jeff. How are you living?
Life's grooving, man. Life is grooving. Hey, first off, I said this to Rob yesterday. I saw your broadcast partner. I'm so happy for you and him to have an 18-3 season. And this is kind of what Richard's been saying. He's happy for the fans. But you and him have traveled everywhere this team has gone from coast to coast for the last 8 years. And you've watched some rough basketball. And I know how much more fun it is to cover winners. Like, I'm stoked for you.
Hey, you know what? It feels good, and we're having. And it's funny because we have to pinch ourselves during the game. It's like, man, how fun is this? It's funny, Jeff. We used to think about it like this, right? We got to go do the game. Now we get to go do the game. We get to go do the game, right? So it's a whole different feeling, and now we're having fun with it for sure.
Yeah, no, I did 2 games with you back in November, and I got a sense that this team was something special. Those games were fun. And what Richard's done, just putting this thing, not just building it up, but building it back up in a year, in certainly less than 2 years, to the point where they're nationally relevant again, where there's an SI article about them, where they're ranked. It's pretty amazing. And I know for you being an alum, it's a big, big deal.
Yeah, no, it is. And, credit to the coaching staff. I mean, not just Coach Pitino, but his assistants who hustled and got out there and got players and, made it happen. I mean, a lot of times they don't get credit for that. And that's just, I think that's the hardest part of this deal, right? Getting players on campus and on the floor. So, no, credit to the coaching staff. And it's awesome that, they've been able to turn it around in such a short period of time.
And the other thing is, and I know this means a lot to you, the quality of the young men. Like, there have been really talented players in here, and there have been character issues, right? You had a 12-1 start a few years ago, and character issues blew that team up. I've sat post-game with Morris Udeze and Josiah and spent time with KJ and with, obviously, House and Mashburn are just unbelievable. They seem like, and you spend more time than I do with them, just quality young men.
Yeah. Well, the key is, we forget these guys are young men becoming men. They're in transition overall, right? This year, past years, and so they're in a learning institution to learn how to become men, right? But man, these guys have. A lot of them are just so mature, and you're right. It's just the quality of people, the guys on the team, and they genuinely like each other, right? So I think all that carries on to the court. Not to say that all teams, the players have to like each other to be successful, because I've seen teams, that players just don't like each other off the court, but man, they battle on the court. But no, these guys generally, they do. They like each other, and they've got in there high character guys. So
former level great Hunter Green is with us on the opening drive.
Well, Hunter, it's one of those things that it's so easy to talk about, but when you see the players actually following through on that in terms of the character, like I'll share a story last night. There were 4 men's players at the women's game. And after the game, fans came over. They took some pictures. They came down, and they signed a couple autographs. And they didn't have to do that after the game. And it's things like that. Walking the walk, I think, is what helps you, get to the goal you ultimately want, and that character stuff.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I remember, back when we played, that was a big thing. We come down the ramp and we, sign autographs. Pictures weren't a big thing. No one had phones back then, but sign autographs, shook hands, touch people. And that was kind of driven by Kelvin Scarborough. He was the guy who he would get rally. Hey guys, come on, let's go. We're going back down. We're gonna sign autographs and visit with fans. And Josiah does that. There's probably, a handful of those guys, like you said, 4 or 5 of them. They'll come down and they'll meet people and take pictures and sign autographs. And that's just so cool. And that's, again, that kind of tells you about the character, JJ.
With all that said, you got to have fans, you got to give them something to be excited about. What's it been like to be in the pit in conference play with the way these fans are showing up?
Oh, just the excitement, coming in the pit, the game, just the build up, like even for Air Force, like who gets built, right. It's it's almost a sellout, or is it a sellout? For Air Force, that's just crazy. So just that vibe and that feeling coming in before tip off, that's just cool. And then of course during the game, you get fans involved, and it's just fun. And I think Coach Pitino talks about it a lot, and that he appreciates the fans and I think they show out because they appreciate him, and they appreciate what the players are doing and the effort they're putting out on the court. So it's all the way around, it's fun, man. It's enjoyable. I mean, like you say, we're relevant again, right? I mean, people say New Mexico. And so, like, I was trying to tell someone this the other day. It's like you're traveling and you got a New Mexico shirt on and you're in San Diego or anywhere, and they're like, hey, New Mexico. And everyone knows, hey, we're right. We're having a good year. And they kind of give you the, hey, thumbs up. And it feels good, and you're representing the state and it gives you recognition. I mean, even for business, I'm doing business, and in like the first 10 minutes of the meeting, we're talking basketball, we're talking hoops. In the past, when we're losing, no way, it's like, we jump right in. Maybe we're talking NFL, but we're not talking Lobo basketball. So it's a good feeling. It feels good, and everyone likes a winner. Right.
Yeah, everybody loves it, and that's why the place is going to be packed for Air Force tonight. He's Hunter Green with us on the opening drive. I asked Richard this yesterday, and you'll get this. I mean, we talk about the pit, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute since the pit's been the pit. And I remember walking down the floor for the Iona game, and I said it felt familiar to me. Like, okay, this feels familiar. And now the pit is on its way back to being what it was, and it's like a re-education. I even think Richard, and he came in and said the reason I took the job is the pit. But I think he did it kind of on reputation. I think there's a whole generation of people, certainly these young players, I think even the coaching staff and new fans who are starting to realize, oh, this is what y'all were talking about.
Right. No, I agree. I don't think the coaches really knew. And, of course, the players, I mean, they've kind of heard the stories. They've kind of heard about it, and they've seen pictures of a packed pit. But I think they're getting a feel of it now and a kind of a little taste of it. So I thought against UNLV, I think some of the Lobos they were just a little stage fright. Didn't start the game. As the game started and, got through it, I thought they got settled in and were comfortable. But you could see a little bright eyes out there a little bit. I was like, wow, because they'd never seen that.
Yeah.
So, no, I think you're right on with that. It feels good, man. It really does. And like you say, Rob and I are having a blast doing the games.
Yeah, you should be. I know another little history lesson for people who don't know. They hear Hunter Green, great player, and he was. Hunter Green is a Lobos all-time leader in season steals. He had 84 steals in a season. Jalen House, a little, with half the conference season left, has 57. Hunter Green is second on the list in double-figure scoring streaks, meaning how many straight games did you score in double figures. Luke Longley's number 1 at 61. Hunter Green is number 2 at 53. And here comes Mash at 42. And I bring that up maybe to stroke you a little bit and make people realize how damn good you were. But you see these two guys. How special is this duo of guards? And do you want to see them break your marks, or do you kind of?
Yeah, no. It's funny you say. Last year I said these guys are special. I said these guys are really good, and even though they're shorter than most in the game of basketball, they're really good. I mean, Mashburn can score, and of course House, he brings it on the offense and defensive end. And these guys they're good. And, I'd love to see them, I'd love to see House become the steal master. That was a title that Scarborough and myself, we used to battle, because we were scoring a lot of points too. And so to kind of compete instead of trying to score the most points, we found something like defense or steals. So we could, we'd battle to see who could get the most steals in a game, right? So, and then ultimately I won that battle for the season. Of course, overall, he won the overall battle. So, I'd love to see House become the steal master, right? And then, of course, Mashburn's playing his butt off, and I'd love to see him, break that double-digit scoring record. I mean, he's right there knocking on the door, and if he doesn't do it this year, he'll do it next year. But I think it's just fun to watch the journey of these guys, and it's and those records, man, I broke a record of guys like Willie Long, who only played, 2, maybe 3 years. I look at these records, and these things are all changing. I mean, we played probably 26, 28 games, or maybe not even 30, and these guys are playing 30, 31 games. So these records are all going to be broken over time. And then, of course, the added the three-point line, which wasn't around when Willie Long played. Of course, it came in my junior year. So things like that changed the game. Guys are playing longer. These records will fall, and that's
COVID
great.
Years.
I mean, I think that's good.
Yeah, guys are getting 5 years. Just for the record, the career steal leader at UNM is a late great Kelvin Scarborough, and number 2 is Hunter Green. But on season steals, Hunter is number 1 and 5. He had 2 different years, 1 and 5, and Kelvin's 2 and 3. So I mean that's how special the two of you were. He is Hunter Green. He's with us just for a few more minutes on the opening drive.
Well, it's been fun. It's been great. But the other night, what was it like?
Yeah.
Double overtime, Nevada, under the frustration from UNM, the turnovers at the end of the first overtime, the craziness at the end of the game. What was it like sitting courtside watching all that go down?
Well, I thought we had it, honestly. I mean, I was afraid. I knew the student section was going to, rush the court. Had they won, and I was like, nah, let's just keep them up there. We're up by 5. We got the ball. I thought the officials missed some calls. Right. I mean, they missed some calls, no question. Not even that critical call against Udeze, but the calls like during the game. Like I was watching, I saw a little preview or a recording of the game, and I didn't catch the end because my guy didn't have it on his recorder. But he, for some reason, it didn't finish recording. But I saw throughout the game there were some just calls that were just not. And those 2 officials, I don't know the third guy, but Michael Irving, is a stud. Vern Harris is stud. I mean, those guys are veterans. In fact, I watched them last night in the USC UCLA game. Yeah. I mean, their guys are good. I mean, but even good guys have an off night. So, yeah, I mean, we could blame the officials, and they missed the call when Udeze got fouled, and he reacted, and there was a retaliation where he got called for the flagrant. But listen, we control the ball. We have the ball. We turn it over in an out of bounds play. Yep. And then of course the 5-second call, and what was the other one?
24-second shot clock violation.
Right? Yeah. Shot clock. Yeah, shot clock. Yeah. So with those are 2 controllables, which that's on us. That's and those are the types of things where hopefully they'll get better at that. I mean, that's just attention to detail. I was talking to someone, and they would say, Steve Offer's team would never do that. Because that's Steve. I mean, he's realistic. And you got guys who are veterans at out of bounds plays and attention to detail, and they're going to get better at it. One of the things I tell people, when I played, to inbound the ball, heck, I mean, I could just stand there, seal a guy, and put a target up and just throw it on top of him. Well, these guys are 6 feet tall. Yeah. I mean, they're being denied the ball from Jump Street, and so they can't get the ball. But that's no excuse. You have to run and execute a play, get a guy open, get the ball in bounds.
Yeah,
I mean,
they say all the time.
They'll get better. They'll get better at it.
Hunter, the other guys are paid to coach too. The other guys are on scholarship. I thought Steven Noodles coached a really good back end of that game in overtime and first and second overtime. Coming out and defending like they did to force that 5-second. I don't know that UNM was ready for it.
No, they weren't. And it's not just happened at Nevada. It's happened a couple of times throughout the season where out of timeouts they just weren't ready. And they get caught off guard with, full court pressure or just denying the ball and out of bounds plays. And, that's how it is. I think Coach said it was on him. And I mean, it's, you want to blame the officials and but there's some controllables there that the Lobos had in hand and they could have controlled it and they just let it get away. But, I mean, it was a great battle. It shouldn't have even gone to the second overtime.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. It was over. It was over, up 5 with the ball. Hey, always enjoy this conversation. Could do it for hours, and maybe we will soon. But thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Love listening to you and Rob over on News Radio, KQB, and along the Lobo Radio Network. Continue to have fun with this. See you tonight, and thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, JJ. Hey, go Lobos.
See you. Hunter Green, the former Lobo great. Just I'm reading you some of his accolades. I think people need to be educated. I mean, we're ways from Hunter playing back in the mid-'80s, and you still see his name at the top of a lot of these records.
There's a reason. Like, Rob doesn't say it just to say it.
He was damn good.
Lobo legend.
Dude, I remember him in high school now. When he was playing at Van Nuys High School.
Of course, Van Nuys. How do you forget that?
Van Nuys Wolf. That's right. I mean, Taft and Van Nuys, I think we're in the same league at that time. Oh, boy, was he good. We had players in that league. I couldn't get off the bench, Steph. Like, I'm not going to tell you I played against him because I didn't. But I sure as heck saw him. I had good seats to see him play. He was really good. All right, respond to that. I got a lot of thoughts on what Hunter had to say. Lobos and Air Force tonight, 505-246-0610. Hey, business owners, are your computers and networks secure? Sure about that? Really sure about that? Call ABQ IT. You got to know someone is protecting your system from hackers and cybercrime, because a gap in your cybersecurity can do major damage to your business, and the threat is real. ABQ IT provides a thorough look at your computer security. They will tell you where you're at risk, and ABTIQ created a business model designed to protect you from malicious threats. Keep your computers up to date. They do it all at one affordable cost. Listen to this. By June 9th, a lot of you business owners are going to have to ensure that the personal data of your customers is protected. You're aware of the FTC safeguards rule? Your business may face penalties if you're not compliant by that deadline. With ABQ IT, you'll be prepared. There's no hourly rate, no labor billing, no hidden fees. The rate's predictable. It won't change. You got to protect your business. It's not worth the risk of hoping bad things won't happen to you. Trust the experts in cybersecurity and compliance. Visit abq-it.com, abq-it.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
I enjoyed that treat. Hunter is you could hear the excitement, and Hunter's been on with us every year. He comes on a few times on the show with us. There's a different balance, man, and there should be. You know, every Lobo fan is vested, and I think every Lobo alum. And look, Hunter Green, and this is not. I don't think I'm undressing anything here. Hunter's a Lobo fan. He's an alum. He's a former player. He's an analyst. He travels with the team. He is as good of a guy as there is, but he's a fan. And I think every Lobo fan. Did you notice? Right, Hunter has been on with us over the years. Comes on a couple times a year. We talk Lobo basketball. That was a different dude right there. Right, there was just a different bounce in his voice, wasn't there?
Well, pep in your giddy up.
Yeah, there's pride, there's enjoyment, and that's why, like Steph, off the top, I said to him, I genuinely am happy for him. Like, I only did 2 games this year, but I do in November before the season. You really kind of know where it was. I do a couple games in November, and sometime when Rob's with football, I get to fill in, and I love doing those games. But winning's so much more fun than just going out and getting kicked around, going around the country getting beat. And you can hear it.
So I never would watch basketball. If it was on in the background, whatever, but I never understood it, not as a kid. I don't even think I understood it in PE, whatever they make you play it. But being able to listen to them, because we don't have monitors that we can watch the game while we're while we're here
While
doing the
producing,
highlights and everything.
Yeah.
So all I can do is listen. So I've had to kind of learn along with listening about, some of the calls or the games or whatever. But it has made me so interested in it by listening to them because of their excitement. It makes it very hard to pick highlights, but because they're always excited, they always tell you, listen for their voice. They'll let you know when to record. But I'm just like, I have to record everything because everything is awesome, and they make it sound so exciting. They're so good on their calls. They can set it up in my mind. I can visually see what's going on, and I'm someone who doesn't understand it, doesn't know it, but I can see what's going on, and it makes it so exciting for me. It makes me want to go out and see them. Of course, I can never get those days off. But
Are you doing the game tonight?
No, so I'm torn because I want to go and see the game tonight.
Yeah.
But I have been really wanting to get out to an El Dorado game to see Bella Hines.
Oh, yeah.
And
She's special
playing
too.
tonight. So I really want to go out to see her
You
tonight.
almost could do
but
both.
I know, because the game doesn't start till 8.
Yeah, you almost could do both.
I know. I'm torn, though.
Yeah, I want to see Bella. Well,
That'd be a good night.
Yeah, that'd be a good night.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and I want to see Bella too. There's 2 scoring sensations in high school basketball in the Metro: Bella Hines and Shane Dumas Sanchez from Del Norte. I went to see Shane play the other night, and he was still out with the ankle injury, so he didn't play. But yeah, I want to see her play.
But yeah, Robert and Hunter, they're awesome. Of course, JJ and listening to JJ.
Yeah, it's a skill,
and Nikki
man.
are
It's
awesome
a skill.
too. So.
It's a skill.
Well,
they do a great job. You had a hell of a game last night, huh? Lobo ladies win 64-59. A kind of a must-win, you said, for Lobo women to hold court at home and beat one of the upper echelon teams in this league. And I think it goes a long way for confidence as you head down the stretch now. Have to beat some of these higher end teams, certainly in the pit.
Yeah, the way they played on the road, digging holes at Wyoming, Colorado State, UNLV, those 3 losses was really frustrating because the Lobos just didn't feel like they gave themselves a chance. And last night they're up 22-12 after the first quarter. It cliche works for this one. It was a roller coaster ride because the Lobos were up 22-12 at the first quarter. Colorado State outscored them 19-7 in the second quarter. The Lobos outscored the Rams 16-7 in the third quarter. And then it was a back-and-forth battle down the stretch and clutch plays. Lobos stepping up, playing defense. McKenna Hofschild, I want to talk about streaks. She's up to 37 straight games for Colorado State, scoring in double figures.
Really?
And the key there is she didn't really start scoring until about midway through the third quarter. And she got going, but she didn't do her usual 23 points, 7 assists. The Lobos did a good job off of her. It's just a big game, that confidence boost for the fan base to see this team compete with the second-place team in the conference at Utah State tomorrow, and then Thursday, Saturday.
You're on the road today?
Hitting the road,
Damn.
going to Logan, Utah.
All right.
But
Be
next
warm.
week, it's UNLV, San Diego State in the pit
Open
Thursday,
the pit.
Saturday.
That's a big week. All right. Hey, if you want to re-listen to what Hunter Green had to say. It'll be on our podcasts. It'll be everywhere. You get podcasts on sportsanimalabq.com and check JJ's Twitter. It's _JJ Buck. Hey, Dave, good morning to you. How you doing?
It's downright cold. Yesterday and today have just been downright cold.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Yeah. I was watching Arizona and Washington State last night, and a common face of Vern was there doing the reffing last night, and I thought Mick Cronin, I don't know how he kept from
Yeah, that was the
getting-
SC UCLA game, not the Arizona Washington State game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mick Cronin got into Vern Harris last night hard.
and a couple of times, and it just, I just thought back to earlier in the week when everybody was calling on Vern. He was against the Lobos, and I think he just calls things a certain way. I don't think he has the thing against any team. I think he just calls it a little differently. And then tonight I'm going to go Lobos by 8. Air Force played really well.
All right, Dave's cutting out. Dave, I lost you, but
His phone froze.
Yeah, his phone froze.
Cold.
Did you watch UCLA last night? UCLA was up by 12 at halftime.
Boogie
Lost the
Ellis.
game. Boogie Ellis went bonkers. Boogie Ellis from SC outscored UCLA in the second half. So not only did I get SC UCLA, which I kind of grew up with, I get Bill Walton, and I'll watch any Bill Walton game. And then there was Vern Harris, and I got Boogie Ellis and Tiger Campbell and Jaime Jaquez, and SC looked nice last night. Watching Mick Cronin get into Vern Harris, the referee, it's kind of weird. It's like looking in the mirror or something.
Mick Cronin gets his money worth.
So
his money's worth.
My mom asked me, okay, so you guys have been telling me for a long time I look like Mick Cronin, right?
Yes.
The UCLA head men's basketball coach. I met Mick Cronin last summer, or last last May in Scottsdale. And we kind of both looked at each other like, damn. And then my brother was at my mom's house a couple weeks ago, and there was a UCLA game on. And my mom said, what's Jeff doing? My mom's first look was, that's my kid. So that when your mom thinks that's you.
That says it all.
Right?
My mom was like, when did Jeffrey start coaching
Right?
UCLA?
Yeah.
me
Doesn't he have
about
enough
that?
damn jobs? He needs another job? Yeah, it's man. You guys are right. It's kind of weird. It is kind of weird. He's a hell of a coach, by the way. He's a hell of a coach. All right, 505-246-0610. If you're there, we're going to get back to you. Coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, Pete Gillen's going to be with us. One of the lead, wouldn't you say he's one of the top analysts for college basketball on CBS? Across the country. He's in town tonight. He's going to call the Lobos and Air Force on CBS Sportsnet. Longtime coach with Providence and Virginia, and one of the big voices in college basketball around the country. So we'll talk to him about what's going on out here in college basketball as a whole. Hey, thanks for being with us. Appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, Stephanie, Adrian on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff.
Maybe the Theraflu or whatever Makes you hoe better. Well, leave the music up a little bit, like throughout this. I like that background music stuff. That's
I faded it out.
I like it a lot. All right, happy Friday to you. Whew, Steph, how was the hoe?
Wow.
Feel better?
Yeah, but caught me off guard there a little. I had my things turned off, and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, half
Turn
my
your things
hoe,
back on."
Half my hoe was gone.
Edward, her things were just turned off. I don't know what to do about that. How are you?
You know, you can never get up caught by the hoe, and you always have to come full hoe, not half hoe. So, just take that under advisement today.
I tried to
Steph
turn.
Cat.
I turned the phone off on hoping that Edward would maybe hoe in.
Oh, should I
but
brought
no.
him into hoe?
I didn't know if he would.
Yeah, I didn't know if he would hoe either. What's up, man?
You know, I'm about 4 decades into hoe. You know, I know Jeff looked like Mick Cronin's amazing.